All right. Welcome, everybody, once again to this Channel Vision Magazine webinar, this time with Zultys. In this presentation, we're going to look at why today's channel partners need vendors that prioritize true partnership and invest in partner business success. I'm your moderator, Brady Hicks, the managing editor with Channel Vision Magazine. Joining us today is your host for the day, Zultys Vice President of Sales, Justin Bush. How you doing today, sir?
I'm living the dream so far. Thanks, Brady. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to kind of jump in and learn about some of these topics that you're going to talk about. Here's the deal, though, guys. Before we really kind of dig into the dirt with it, I want to remind you that Zultys created this webinar to provide you with information. So if you have any questions along the way, go to the Q&A icon on the bottom of the page. We'll present those questions once Justin's presentation is finished for the day. All right, enough for me. Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, thanks, Brady. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for their time today. I really appreciate it. I know it's really valuable. So I've got a great PowerPoint presentation you're all going to love. It's like 87 slides. I'm just kidding. We're going to go ahead and keep it pretty concise today. Again, my name's Justin. I've been here since 2011 at Zultys. I've been in the industry now since 1999, so I'm really excited to be able to share some of the why Zultys. You know, for me, I think it's really exciting to be in the channel, be able to present to you guys. But I think the real value when I look at the organization as Zultys is I came here for the product because it was a really good product and real fun to sell, and it still is. But I stay because of the culture that we create within our partner network. And I think it's just really important to emphasize that we continue to want to grow the partner network as a partnership. We don't want a customer vendor relationship. We like to partner with all of our partners throughout the network, and we really focus on helping grow your business. At the end of the day, we understand math. It's real easy. If you're successful and we can help you be successful, Zultys is successful at the end of the day without having to do a lot of effort. So we really do focus on really helping improve your business, and always will. So one of the things that I look at, and we've been talking about a lot about lately, is really what does the channel look like? And this big cloud on UCaaS, CCaaS, and it is just such a big market share, but how big is it really going to get? And I think this statistic from Gartner was really interesting, that only 31% of the businesses that exist today will move to the cloud by 2025, which just leaves this gigantic market space of people that haven't moved into the cloud, into the channel yet. And why is the real question? Why is this adoption not super fast because of all the redundancies, feature functionality they get? Why is it a slower transition than we all anticipated? Now, the market share is still real big, but it's got so much room to grow. And so one of the things that we really look at when people are migrating from a premise-based solution to a cloud-based solution, they're not necessarily getting all the features. And the reason for that is there's a lot of providers out there today. There's hundreds of providers, thousands of UCaaS providers. Honestly, when you look at it in the marketplace, but they don't all have legacy functionality. And some of these things are really important to organizations today. And it's the reason they're slower to move is because they don't get all the functionality that they need. Now, at the end of the day, as they migrate, are they going to get away from needing those features? And then the answer sometimes is yes, but more often than not, these are business functionality that they aren't going to want to do without. So one of the things that I really like to talk about with Zultys is one of these unique capabilities of bringing this legacy functionality, because Zultys was born as a premise-based phone system. It evolved into a virtualized phone system, then it moved into the cloud. And so we have and always will have the legacy functionality, but we have all the UCaaS, CCaaS functionality that your customers are looking for today. So when I look at things like voicemail escalation, and I used to laugh when people told me to demo that functionality, but the reality is people still need it, and we're winning deals because of it. Having the ability to do paging easily, line appearances, advanced scheduling for auto attendance and getting people in. These are all things that companies still utilize today, and they don't have a way to get away from it. And so that's why they're hesitant to move to the cloud. So Zultys makes it an easy transition because we offer all that premise-based functionality, all this legacy functionality. But as you see me go through the presentation today, and I'll build on it, we have all the functionality that a business is going to need today and into the future. And we're continuing to evolve the product to continue to be forward facing, stuff like AI coming to the platform, being able to increase the call center capabilities, in becoming an enterprise space provider. So all these things are really important to Zultys. The way we develop the product, I think, is really important for everybody to understand. So it's all Zultys product from the ground up. So for us, we're not going out and relying on a third party really for anything within the Zultys solution. It's all our product. So we wrote the original code on a Linux kernel. We just released version 18 where we upgraded it from a 32-bit system to 64-bit. We created a whole lot of APIs to make it a stickier product, to do more integrations. And that's a really important thing is we go into a business, are we looking at really what their business processes are and how do we help improve those functionalities, right? We don't want to be the provider that just comes in and says, here's a voice system and here's your cost. We want to sit down and discover what the business is really looking for. Does the accounting department use a specific piece of software? Does the sales team use a specific piece of software? Do they have an ERP? Do they have a CRM? Do they have a dealer management software because they're in automotive? Do they have an EMR because they're in the medical world? Well, we want to do integrations, all those, because it makes it a stickier customer, quite frankly, at the end of the day. I think one of the other unique value propositions when we look at this functionality of why they're hesitant to move from that premise-based to the cloud, Zultys has everything built into one. And a lot of providers today out there will tell you that, hey, we can cover the UCaaS, but this is the company we partner with for their CCaaS functionality. And we look at that and say, wow, that's got to be tough, because you end up with my favorite thing is the vendor coat of arms that says, hey, it's their problem, not mine. It's their problem, not mine. At the end of the day, your customer is not really worried about whose problem it is because it's their problem. With Zultys, we make it a really easy solution. It's never a vendor coat of arms. It's my team looking at it and saying, how do we go and resolve whatever issue they have? Now, I'll talk about the support in a little bit, and you'll find out that we don't really have to do that very often because we got a great support model and we have a great system that's been really reliable, and it has been for years and years. We make it really easy at Zultys. We have 3 user types on our platform, and it's easy. So we have a standard user, a premium user, a contact center user. Zultys is in the unique advantage of providing premise, virtual, or hosted deployments. They can all network together, but in my world, all the licenses are the same. There's no difference. It's just how people want to pay for it, whether they want to do a CapEx or OpEx. And I like to go through this because I think it's really relevant to show you guys how much better and easier it is to work with Zultys. So when you look at Zultys, we wanted to make it easy. We have the 3 user types, but everything is all inclusive. So if I have 50 standard users, I have 50 hunt groups, 50 ACD groups, 50 auto attendants, 50 of everything that's included in there. So it's not something you're ever going to come back and say, hey, Justin, you guys didn't give me enough contact center groups or ACD groups, right? So every time we build on how many ever users you have, that's what you have of each one, which makes it really easy. I think when you look at our standard user, it makes a phone system, right? It has all the contact center light functionality. So really, when I look at that, I look at more of a call center functionality. We can talk about our contact center at the end. We have voicemail transcriptions built in, which they would get on their mobile app. My big thing when I look at that standard user is the ability for everybody to get a mobile app. And as I go through the software today, what you'll see, and this is just my mobile app, it's live, just so you guys know. As you can see me scrolling on there, I'm just using a reflector to show that. This is our mobile app today. This is our brand new version, and it allows me to see what's going on inside of my phone system, and we include it for every standard user, because the reality is I know my phone system's going to be up. I don't know if they're going to have power internet connectivity at their location. So we provide this for every user so they have the ability to connect to our system whenever they need to. And I can see things like if somebody's out of the office on here, if somebody's on, like Jack is on site with Peter today, Connect USA. I can see Kevin's at lunch. I can see Mitchell's logged out. As I continue to look at the groups that I have, sorry, big fingers. As I look at the groups, I can see the communication. If I wanted to talk to somebody, I can click on Chris. And Chris is a great example of how I keep all my communication in one place. So if you'll see this, you free for me to use you in my webinar in a few, and I already knew he wasn't, and he responded in chat. Unfortunately, no. I then sent an SMS, which is why it's blue. So I sent it to his cell phone, and then I just responded to him on chat because he finally responded. So if I want to communicate with Chris, I can open it, I can chat with him really quickly. I can do, SMS, MMS, all that can be done right through here. I also have the ability to do a video call, and I can just call Chris right through the mobile app. So it makes it really easy for me to communicate with people. Me as a user up on the top, right now I'm in a meeting, so all my calls should be going directly into voicemail. You just saw somebody call through on my cell phone. But this is really nice because I can now pick what my presence is, and I can decide if I'm going to be in a meeting, out of office, available, whatever I want to be. So sorry, I got really fat fingers, guys, today. So apparently I'm not, there it is. I'm out of the office. I can be available, not available, busy, at lunch, and to be right back. I can also put a Twitter-like note on there. So demo until 12 o'clock Mountain Time. Okay. All right, sorry, I can't multitask. So now I just let everybody know that I'm going to be in a meeting until 12 o'clock Mountain Time. They can contact me if they want afterward. And now all my calls will go directly into voicemail. But this makes it really easy for me to be able to communicate with people, whether they're on my buddies list or if I go to my contacts, even if they're not the people I communicate with on a regular basis, I can communicate with people. I have my soft phone that's built into here, so I can call somebody. I can do an SMS or an MMS to anybody right through here as well. So it's really easy to be able to communicate with people. I can go further into the mobile app, but then I'm going to get into a training, and I only have about 45 minutes today. I just wanted to give you an idea how easy it is to do everything on this mobile app. As I move into the next user, I want you to just remember everything I can do in the software on the desktop, I can do on my mobile app. So if I wanted to schedule a conference call, I can go and do a conference call. I can start the conference call. I can do screen share from here. I can do video from here. All of it can be done through the mobile app. I don't have to go into my PC every single time. I also have the ability to move calls seamlessly from my PC or desk phone to my mobile app. If I'm leaving the office, it gets really easy to be able to do. So that's a little bit about our mobile application. So I really like it because it's really robust. We just developed it so it's done at the same time for our Android applications as it is with our iPhone applications. So they're developed at the same pace, and it's the exact same feature set. It's one piece of software for us to be able to work on, which is really nice. I'm going to pop out of my screen share real quick. So when I look at that premium user, it's everything that the standard user has, but the big functionality add-on from that is the ability to add in our GUI interface on the PC. We call it Zultys Advanced Communicator. Same functionality. When I go in, first thing up at the top is me. I can see what my presence is, and you can see the note is there from what I put in there earlier. So I can see that I'm in a meeting right now until 12 o'clock Mountain Time. It's projected out for everybody inside the organization. Now I'm going to drop down to the bottom left-hand corner because I think this is one of the coolest features that Zultys has, and I've been here since 2011 and talk about it a lot, binding. So right now it's telling me I'm using my soft phone. With Zultys, we have the ability to control any device that you want, and we have the ability to make it part of the phone system. So you can use this as a soft phone, not a problem. You have the ability to bind to a specific device by the MAC address that's on the bottom of it. I also may have a device that's assigned to me, and I can go in and do that. Like I have my MAC address, my physical phone at the house is here, so I can pick that. I also have the ability to bind to any number on any network. So if I wanted to say I'm working out of the, bind to an external phone. Apparently I didn't have my numbers lock on. 330763. So since I'm sitting in Utah today in a glamorous Courtyard Marriott in Sandy, Utah, you can see that I just bound to my cell phone. So now if I want to make a phone call, I can make a phone call right from here. I can call anybody. Let's say I wanted to call my wife. If I wanted to go find Heidi, I'm just going to use the search bar up here. I like using the names. I can go Heidi Bush, and she's just in a contact for me. I can call Heidi. If I call her, it will call my cell phone. I answer, it places a call out. Looks like it comes from the caller ID in my office. So it's really helpful for companies, a lot of consultants that go work at offices, people that travel around, technicians. If you want to be able to work from anywhere, this is a really nice, easy, flexible option. Obviously, taking the soft phone is as well. It's probably the thing that I do more often than not, but sometimes you get into an area where the internet isn't very good. I can't bind to the phone in my hotel room, and this becomes a really nice option for me. Same thing if I click on Chris, I can get the communication, and you'll note that it's the exact same communication string that was in my mobile app goes into my PC, so I can decide how I want to communicate with Chris, whether I want to do a Zach message internal or in SMS. It's really nice. The other thing I always like to point out on here, because I just think it's a really cool feature, I can see everybody on the phone system, what they're doing, and there's a little icon here that looks like a little phone. Well, it is. It's telling me that they're all logged into their mobile application. So I can see a lot of my inside sales staff isn't logged in. Some of them are. It just means that they can answer calls from anywhere. So if they're sitting downstairs in the kitchen and not in their office, I'm not going to know. I just know that they're answering phone calls anywhere they want to be. So it's a really flexible option on Zultys, and I just love it. So the other thing that I think is one of our great functionalities and differentiators is the ability to invite external participants to a private chat by link. Now, I can send this to anybody I want. I just copied the link. I can now email it. I can invite somebody into a communication with me. I can do it for 48 hours. I can do it for a week, a month. I can leave it as an open access so they can always communicate with me, which means I can invite my customers in to communicate with me via chat anytime I'm available, to be able to call me, to be able to do a video, to be able to do a screen share. So we really do want to enable communication and improvement outside of the organization, not just focusing on improvement inside the organization. How do I better connect our partners' customers with their customers to really improve that customer experience? So often I hear UCaaS providers say that if you use their product, you're going to improve your customer experience. Well, the reality is I improve my user experience because I'm giving them all the chat and functionality internal, but not a lot of people are focused on that outside communication. How do we collaborate and bring them in? So we think it's just a really good differentiator on Zultys. We can do the same things through the groups. So it's a really flexible option. The other thing, once you're on a call, it becomes really easy. I can drag and drop calls everywhere around the Zultys solution. If I want to call somebody, I can move them over, drag them into a group. I can make a phone call. It's just really flexible for the Zultys solution. You know, I can go through about 3 hours on here. I am going to show you one last thing, though, because I just think it's super easy to be able to do. And it's one of these legacy functions that I take advantage of and not everybody has today. So what I'm going to drop into is the settings, and I'm going to drop into call handling rules. And this is just really important. So every user has the ability to set up their own rules. So right now I have one that says if I'm in the office, what does the phone system do? And I can do it based on presence. And I'm going to reject a phone call if my wife calls me. It's kind of a funny joke. If I'm unavailable, what's going to happen? So let's create a rule just so you guys get an idea of what we have the ability to do. So I'm going to call this a demo rule. I'm going to say it's on any incoming call, and I'm going to do it on a presence because I always think this is fun to do. So if I'm available, what do I want the phone system to do? Well, I can forward it to somebody. I can forward it to voicemail. I can have it find me. I can have it find me at 4 different numbers, 4 different times. So I can have it call me at 16 different phone numbers. And I'm going to guess that most people on this call don't have 16 phone numbers, but I'll go out on a limb and say some people have 16 email addresses. So we can actually do voicemail escalations to all your email addresses as well. You can also reject a phone call. But I like to get a little bit more granular than that. So here's what I'm going to do. If my presence is available, and I get a call from, and let's say I can do an internal participant, all internal, all external, or a phone number. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to do it for all internal employees, right? So if I'm available and it's an internal employee, and I could do it based on a date range. If I was on vacation, I can set this up ahead of time. If I know I'm going to be out for a reason, I can set a call handling rule for that. I can do it based on time of day. I'm not going to do that today. I think the time of day is really interesting. We do a whole lot in the school environment. And so you can have teachers set up different rules. So when they're available, when they're in their planning period and they want to take phone calls from parents, they have the ability to do that. If they're at lunch hour, they're not taking phone calls. So it gets really flexible in what you can do for the school systems. And I just really like this functionality. Also, if you have a regular schedule, which I do not, that you take lunch every day, you can create your rules ahead of time so your voicemail just comes on and people know you're at lunch, and your return call time is going to be a little bit longer. You could do it based on days of the week or holidays. So for me, if the call is from anybody internal, what do I want to have it do? I'm going to have it call me, and let's do this. I'm going to go in and I'm going to say all my phones, and then I'm going to go down here. So I'm going to hit OK. So it's going to call all my phones. It's going to call all my phones for 30 seconds. I'm not going to do connect immediately. I'm going to do ask before connect. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old at the house. So if they answer a phone, I want them to be able to have to learn how to press 1 if they want to accept the phone call. My kids hopefully don't go into my office while I'm out of town. I think that's optimistic. So now the next thing I'm going to do is don't answer there. Where do I want it to go? I want it to go to my cell phone, and I can go in and create a rule just for my cell phone. My name is Joe Demo, so I don't ever forget. Now I just created a phone call handling rule, so it goes directly into my cell phone. Again, I can pick how long it's going to ring. I can do connect immediately or ask before connect, and then I can just click on OK. The other thing I have the ability to do is then say, hey, listen, if this person calls in, anybody internal, I can play a specific greeting, and I can, record one internal. It says, hey, Zultys employee, unfortunately, I didn't get your call. It's really important. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, right? I can set an expectation and play a specific greeting for them. So it gets really granular. I'm not going to save it, but it's really easy to be able to create on Zultys, and there's a whole lot more we can do on this product. Like I said earlier, I've done a 4-hour demo before. It feels more like a training, and I know today we only have about 45 minutes, so I'm going to cruise through this. So without dropping into the next thing, and I'll just pull this up again real quick. Let me pop over. And I'll swap it out. I don't know why it keeps coming up the wrong way. The next thing that we're going to talk about is a contact center. And I think it's a really cool thing for Zultys because that standard user, premium user offers a lot of call center functionality. And then you look at the contact center, which becomes more of that omni-channel call contact center because that allows all forms of communication to come in. I can start adding web chat into there, which you can do in the premium user for your ACD. I can add in requests for callback so they don't have the ability, they can jump out of the queue if they don't want to stay there. I can do chat to that group. So now I have the ability to take everything that we use today to communicate, which is really changing, right? I'm a phone person because I grew up selling telephones and I've always done it. But, I look at society today and everybody's communicating differently. Some people are using text. Some people are using chat. How do we start enabling that a little bit better and bring it into one place? Often I see providers saying that they can, we do it all, and you can, but now I'm trying to manage all this communication in different spots with different widgets. Well, with Zultys, all I have to do is log into that contact center group, and it's super easy to be able to do. So if I pop back into my Zack software, up here in the top left-hand corner, it's got a little icon that says select roles. I can jump in and I can add myself into a contact center. Boom. Then I'm going to make myself not available because it's going to instantly offer me a phone call. There it goes because it's just a simulator. But what I did is just logged into a contact center. On the left-hand side, you can see that it added agent roles and speed dials. That's the only thing that it changed. But now I'm in a contact center. I can answer all communication. If I go down to the agent roles, I can see who's logged in, who's logged out. If I go into the queue monitor, I can see what's going on in the queue as an agent, right? Really easy to be able to do. And I didn't have to switch software. I think that's the real key to being Zultys is I'm not moving software. I've done these demos and people are like, man, I think you forgot to demo contact center. I'm like, no, I went through it. It's just in the same piece of software. So there's no learning curve for your customers. It's just an easy transition right into that one piece of software that, Zultys is cornered the market on because we've been doing it forever as one piece of software. So this is really easy to be able to do in that contact center. The other thing we can look at is really getting more in depth as a supervisor role. Again, I don't want to go through a ton on the product. I've got a whole lot more to talk to you guys about today. But I think this is really cool to be able to go in and see from a web perspective what's going on in my contact center. So I can log in. It's going to ask me to authenticate. So from a contact center perspective, there's two things I want to look at. I want to look at SuperView or I want to look at a wallboard. I like SuperView because it allows me a lot of flexibility. I can see all my queues, right? So the ones that I'm a supervisor of. If I drop down into this MX simulator, the MX outbound call simulator, this is actually showing me active calls within the group. I can see who's on the phone, who's off the phone. If somebody's connected, I have the ability as a supervisor to barge in, silent monitor, whisper. I can log my agents in or out of their groups as well so they can start taking phone calls and I can see statistics. This, for me, from a supervisor perspective, allows a lot of intelligence, right? So I can see what's going on, monitor my employees, something that I would keep more on my desktop so I can help monitor and coach my employees. The wall board allows me to bring accountability to that entire group, and it becomes flexible because now I can create as many tiles as I want. I can do a different color for each different group. I can add all sorts of different information in there, but these are all really flexible to be able to do. I can go into edit mode and I can add a new group, right? So if I just added a widget or a group title, I can. Let's go add a new widget. I can go into the settings, and this is really easy. Anybody can do it. Hey, the source, what do I want to manage or maintain? I want to see what the maximum hold time is, and I want to see it for a very specific group. Now I can then say, okay, this group color is always going to be purple. So I know that the MX outbound call simulator is purple. I have this new widget that says, what's the maximum hold time? Do I want to enable alerts? Do I want to say if it's more than 1 minute or 30 seconds, right? Whatever it happens to be, let's go 20 seconds. I'm going to set an alert on the system and it's going to give me a visual pop on the screen. So that way, when I'm looking at this big group that's in a contact center, if they're still local and not spread out, I can bring accountability to this big wall board. The nice thing about Zultys, and we've had this company for a long time called Provident Funding. They have offices all over the U.S., and it's really interesting to me. Their contact center supervisor manages everything from Santa Rosa, California. And so you have the ability to manage your call center no matter where they're at, because, you look at today, quite honestly, people work from home all the time, right? It's 2-3 days at home and 2 days in the office in a lot of cases. So we allow a lot of flexibility on the Zultys software. Perfect. All right. So with that said, I'm going to jump out of the software, and at any point we can jump back in when you guys have questions. What I'm going to do is just kind of pop this over real quick. All right, so the standard users. So one of the things that we talk about a lot is, what is somebody looking for? What should they look for in a UCaaS, CCaaS partner to make sure they're making the right decision? Because there are just so many providers out there today. One of the things that we always talk about all the time is the fact that we don't sell direct. We're never going to sell direct. We used to have this small customer called Amazon that I'm sure nobody on this call has ever heard of, where we used to do their warehouse fulfillment. And even with Amazon, Zultys didn't support it directly, right? We just don't believe that we should do anything direct. We should do everything through our channel. And that's really what we're all about at Zultys. And there's lots of other things that you need to look at when you're looking for a provider. I'm not going to read the slide because I know you guys can all read, but that's a really important thing. The other things we look at is, how do we continue to help you keep a customer? When I talked about why I stay at Zultys in that culture, it's this. It's, how do I make sure that my partners are true partners of the organization and we don't treat them like customers? And to us, the partnership is the most important thing. If you want to walk from a deal, I'm walking with you hand in hand. And we've done it several times with our partners. And honestly, we picked our partners that have had longest relationships with the customer versus picking somebody that never knew them before, and we've lost a deal. But at the end of the day, our partnership is more important than one specific deal. We want to be partners on this whole entire thing. So the other thing we talk about a lot at Zultys is an executive staff is, everybody on this call is, if you're a business owner, you're running a department, you're in sales. One of the things that we look at is everybody has a high IQ doing what we do. There's no doubt about it. You're in technology. You have a high IQ. You have a high EQ, right? You know how to handle people. But the thing that we think you guys all do better than everybody, and it is without a doubt the thing that sets everybody apart, is the ability to handle stress better than everybody else. And so when we look at this, it's a real big thought process, and something we always look at is, how do we take that stress away from you in this part of the business? Can I make UCaaS, CCaaS stress-free so you can sell more of the other products and services you want to sell? Now, sometimes UCaaS, CCaaS is your core business. That's great. Sometimes managed services, and sometimes it's print services. Whatever you're going out and selling, we want to enable you to do it. Security, whatever it is, I want to help you sell more. How do I do that? Right? Well, first off, I make sure you don't lose a customer. We actually did a deal with somebody, and we went and visited with them in Chicago and said, how'd it go? And they were like, what's funny? We sell another provider and we hear from the customers all the time. We haven't heard from the customer we installed with Zultys for 2 months, other than they wanted to add a couple users. I was like, I guess that seems like we should sell some more Zultys. And they were like, you know what? We need to sell a whole lot more Zultys because we don't hear from them. Well, why don't they hear from them? Well, we make sure it's really easy and reliable. It's one of the biggest things we do at Zultys. We lose less than 0.7% of our customers. It's really a 0.068% churn rate. You get paid longer, customers stayed longer. They're happy, which means you can sell them more products and services. We look at voice as a really easy way to open the door to go and get more services and support from that customer. We allow you to add MRC and NRC charges really easy. We give you really aggressive SPITH programs, and we pay you guys on everything, which is different than everybody. If you want to sell the phone outright to your customer, you're going to get a commission. If you rent somebody a phone, you're going to get commissioned on it. If somebody has usage fees, and we have unlimited plans where they would never have it, we have 1,000-minute plans, we have billable plans, you guys get a commission on usage. You can add on fees, you can add on monthly recurring charges, you can add on one-time charges to the system. So we make it easy for you to make more money, because at the end of the day, it's all about that partnership and putting more money in your pocket and keeping your customers longer so you can sell more of the solutions that you want to sell to your organizations. The other thing that we do is we try and make it easy for you to do business with Zultys. We think it's really important. We dedicate a sales team to every region, one inside salesperson, one outside salesperson to every single region that we have at Zultys. And we have 11 of them today. When I started in 2011, we had 4 regions. So we're really aggressive at making sure you guys have good support. We have a pre-sales engineering team. That team will help you with demonstrations. We have 3 of them across the US. They'll help you with configurations, answering RFPs, and we have been doing a whole lot of RFPs because it's RFP season for school districts right now, so we have an engineering team that can help you out. We have a portal that we'll talk about a little bit that we really created some great content for you from a marketing perspective to be able to create drip campaigns, social media campaigns, landing pages to help you do lunch and learns. You know, we have this aggressive base upgrade program. Well, one of the things you got to do is market to your customer base, because if you're not, I promise somebody else is. How do we help you do that and give you a tool that you don't have to pay for? And on top of that, we have this great quoting tool that we just are launching into there to give you a one-stop shop for everything Zultys, you know, co-branded material, everything that you can share with your customer. And from a business perspective, we also give you analytics on what your sales team's doing. You can break it down by company or salesperson and what their close rate is. We're all about giving you business intelligence. And for partners that want to self-install the Zultys solution, we have the ability to do an IDP program. You know, one of the things that we look at, we have an agent program where you can do it all. We have a program where you can do the installation, where you get certified. Well, when you do that, we want to make sure your first few go really smoothly, because if you're moving from one product to the Zultys, listen, I know we all call everything a little bit different. The training on Zultys is really easy. I will tell you, as a VP of sales, when I did it in 2011, I got a 96%. I missed one question, which I would still argue today that I got correct. But it's really easy to be able to program the phone system. But we want to be that person on your shoulder. Again, it's that partnership to make sure everything goes super smooth. Sell a reliable product. One of the things that I asked, we went to Scottsdale, Arizona about 2 years ago for an event and a convention, and we were asking all of our partners why you sell Zultys, because we wanted to create a video for everybody. And the answer that I got was a resounding, it works, Justin. It does exactly what you say it's going to do, and it works, right? So at the end of the day, we created this reliable product. One of the things that we do that's different than most people in the industry is today we deploy an instance-based solution. Every customer has their own instance. They have their own dedicated bandwidth, which means everybody on the Zultys solution could go off hook at once, and it's not going to create an issue ever. There's always enough bandwidth for everybody to make a phone call, no matter what's going on in the world. So for us, it's a really important thing, is to be able to develop the product correctly, to be able to deploy it great. We're HIPAA compliant. We made sure we went out and we could sign everybody else's BAA. Not because we just wanted to get into the medical world, but because when we did all of our SIC codes back in 2017 on all the customers, we realized that even premise and hosted, it's all medical. It's our largest customer base is a medical. So we went out and became HIPAA compliant. In our hosted world, we've been providing solutions since 2014. I'll knock on wood in this hotel. We have never had a full outage, and I can't tell you that I've heard that from any provider out there today. No full outage since 2014. It's a really impressive thing. Well, Justin, how do you do that? Well, that's a great question, Justin. I'm glad you asked. So one of the things that we do with this instance-based deployment was we purposely picked a data center that was voice-centric. So within the data center, there's 6 tier 1 carriers for data packets coming in and out of the phone system. If one goes down, they get blacklisted. That's not a problem. We have 5 other tier 1 carriers. We always are getting packets in and out of the data center. The other thing that Zultys does, because it's instance-based deployment, we have 2 data centers, one on the East Coast, one in the central of the country, Rocky Mountain region, one in Denver. So I have the ability, we back it up every single night, re-image the secondary data center. If anything ever happens, we fail over between the 2 data centers. If I told you how fast it was, you probably wouldn't believe me, but it's not very long. It's seconds. All it's waiting for is voice traffic. All I got to shift is voice traffic from one data center to the other. The long pole in the tent is if somebody's looking at the data center, is it an issue we believe is to self-mitigate? Is it something that we can bypass by going into our Denver location, using our clean pipe to Denver and Boston, entering in? We have the ability to create different ways to access our system, so it makes it really easy. The other thing we do, which I've never heard of today, is we test our failover. Every year we do a test. We let our customers know, and we do a failover. Now, because we are an instance-based deployment, we can do some unique things. There's a lot of providers, when the upgrade comes, it comes, and they just hammer it down. Well, with Zultys, we had a customer 2 years ago. We have a deployment. It's a towing company. They have the city of Boston on contract. They called us and they said, Justin, there's a nor'easter coming, and we need you guys to not do the upgrade of the phone system. And I had to apologize because that upgrade was happening. Our data center, our primary, is in Boston. We knew there was a nor'easter, so our people all flew in ahead of time to be able to do the data center upgrade. And it is really important. We're actually doing another data center refresh of our hardware here very shortly, because we know that we need to keep up on it and make sure that it's all good for everybody, to make sure it's really rock solid and reliable, make sure the failover works properly. So this customer called and I said, listen, let me see what I can do. And I knew I was going to be able to solve their problem. So I called into my support team. I said, hey, listen, they got a problem. They have the city of Boston on towing contract. If they miss a phone call, they're going to lose that contract. It's real lucrative. They also manage the 26 plowing trucks for Boston. They need to be able to have communication. We pulled them out of the stack, re-put them somewhere else, did all of our work. They had no issues. A week later, they called and said, hey, everything's back to normal. Please put us back in the stack. We did. We pulled them in, and we were able to solve a solution, right? We look at that all the time and say, okay, if it's really important to you, how do I have a solution for it? Now, most providers can't do that. They're just going to jam that upgrade, and you're probably going to have some downtime. But for them, it's very business important, and so it was really important to us. You know, that really leads into why use our support. Well, listen, this is really important to us. We have probably some of the best day 2 support I've ever heard of. But I'm going to start with how an implementation goes. So we dedicate one engineer to each install. They're all US-based engineers. Everybody lives within the US. Never going to hire somebody outside of the US to do these implementations. So you're going to get somebody that speaks English on that phone, makes it really easy. One of the things that I look at that we've done, which is different, is most of the people that are in my tech support have installed our phone systems for our partners at some point in time. And I look at a lot of them get a winger from that technician model. So these are people that have the skill set to talk to customers, to be able to give them best practices through that implementation process. But, you know, in the beginning, we used to have a couple people do it. What we found is technicians all think a little bit different. And we wanted one person to be able to communicate with them, understand what that customer wants, and then be able to implement it. They also do the training on that phone system. And we don't just send videos. Do we have them? Absolutely. We have tons of videos. But the reality is we want to be able to do some live webinar training for everybody. So we do that. Our support, man, our average hold time last year was 16 seconds for technical support. We enable any user that's on our cloud services where we're doing the support to call in. Last year, our average hold time was 16 seconds. And it's not 16 seconds with a tier 1 support person that's going to pass you off to somebody else. It's 16 seconds to get to a tier 2, tier 3 technician that's able to solve your problem. If they can't solve the problem on that call, or very shortly, they're going to escalate it to the engineers that wrote the code on Zultys to be able to look at it. And that's really the big advantage of Zultys is we solve problems faster. One of the things I look at my tech support really does well is almost takes a guilty until proven innocent approach, right? We're going to dig a little bit deeper, and I hear this from our partners all the time, than most in getting them an answer of where we think the issue is going to be on the Zultys solution. And these are just a couple quotes of what our partners say about the Zultys solution and our support. So I didn't know this, but I became a big fisherman a while ago, right? And I have my favorite fishing spot. It's in Montana, and I love to fly fish. It is my thing. So when you look at your business, where do you like to fish? Where do you like to get your customers? For Zultys, I'm gonna break down really what we think is the key for us, and big push this year for us is to move more into the enterprise. We have one customer today, right? We had used to tell you that I was 5 to 10,000 users on a single instance, and we always knew we could go higher. We have one customer out of Texas that's moving up to 40,000 users in the next few years. So we went and certified our phone system up to 40,000 users on one single instance. But that's not really where we have to stop. We have the ability to continue to grow, but we want to grow in that enterprise space, and we have been. And so when I look at our partners, it's always, everybody has this whale of a customer that they're really afraid to move, really afraid to touch. We have a dedicated enterprise sales team. We brought in a VP of engineering and enterprise sales, Tim Larson, who has been really instrumental in selling some pretty small companies like CVS, Macy's, Toys R Us when they were around. Really has a lot of enterprise space knowledge and know-how, and we're really good about figuring out how to make it a sticky software integration or sticky integration. It's not always about the UCaaS, CCaaS solution when you're selling into the enterprise. So we have a dedicated team to help you guys sell into it. Dedicated engineering team for that, dedicated sales team for enterprise. It's a really big focus for Zultys in 2024. But if I'm just talking about our everyday, how do I keep the lights on? Where's Zultys' great fit? I'd say 20 to 1,500 users in a multi-location. I used to say 20 to 200 because that's 80% of the marketplace, but we do a lot larger locations. We do a lot of financial institutions, multi-locations, banks. We've got Bank of Colorado, had the Bank of Utah. These are all really big applications for Zultys with lots of locations. We're focused on that omni-channel contact center functionality. And again, up to 40,000 users where we can get. What are the key markets that you like to play in? For us, healthcare is our number one. It's that HIPAA compliance, that customer controlled upgrade and timing. When I look at the medical world today, what I see a lot is a hospital that goes as a premise-based solution. All their clinics go as a hosted. Zultys is in a unique position because we can offer that premise-based product for the hospital, and then we can do hosted throughout all the clinics tied together. It looks like one phone system, and we're one of the last men standing in that. And because it's our code, we're always going to have that. We're not like other people that exited the marketplace. Zultys kept the same feature code. When I release something, it goes across all platforms, and that's really important. We do well in automotive dealerships. I'm in Salt Lake City today. Ken Garf Automotive is one of our customers, and they have about 85 locations on a Zultys solution today, maybe 90 today. But they do really well. They've got a really large building downtown here in Salt Lake City. Financial institutions, like I said, and because it is RFP season, I would be remiss without telling you how well we do in the SLED marketplace. We have a PEPM contract, so we try and bypass RFPs as much as possible. If you have a relationship, people can buy off a PEPM contract for all SLED locations without having to go to an RFP process, and they're really good about helping us talk your customers through how they can do that, and obviously in that contact center. So I've talked a lot today. We have some phones. I think it's really important to bring up. They're all Zultys branded telephones. And why do you do that, Justin? Well, because I said earlier, we are partner focused. If I'm just selling a Yealink or a Polyphone, anybody can go buy one, and they can buy it on Amazon, and they can buy it cheaper than you're going to sell it for, and it doesn't allow you to make more money. Well, here's the deal with Zultys. I like not having a gray market. We brand our own phones. We have OEM manufacturer relationships with our providers. So it's our firmware in the phones. They're still an open standard SIP phone, but they do more on the Zultys solution because we load our firmware in there. We use Fanville and we use Yealink. And I think one of the key things for us is all the provisioning is pointed at Zultys. It doesn't provision to Yealink. It only comes to Zultys to get it. And from a security perspective, it's really, really important. Integrations and CRMs, I talked about that a little bit. Really, when we look at that enterprise space, it is more about how do we get sticky integrations and what it is. And I get this all the time. Hey, I want an integration. Well, what do you want? I want a screen pop. Well, that's not an integration. How do we dig further? How do I take data out of the phone system, push it into your software, pull it out of the software, push it into the phone system? Those are the applications. We can do a lot of basic stuff, but we really want to talk to you about how do we make it stickier and create better applications for your customers. We talked a little bit about the Zultys Partner Portal from a marketing quoting perspective. When I look at it, you guys get content. If you come on with Zultys, you get a login and a password. I give you all your own branded content, easy to share, easy to be able to create campaigns in there. You can create email campaigns, social campaigns. We invest in our partners, and I've said this a lot. We partner with a gentleman named Ron L. Richards in the channel who is absolutely a rock star at marketing, and he has helped talk to our partners multiple times about how do you do social and how do you get started. And one of my biggest takeaways is you just have to be consistent. Well, I'm not great at it, but I can automate it now, and I'm going to, because our portal can automate your social campaigns. The quoting tool for us is really easy. You have the ability to add to this quote tool, which I think is great. When I go back, the first thing we did is design a quote tool that I wanted to use, that we all wanted to use, that we thought was the best in the industry. So it becomes dynamic. The proposal for Zultys only gives you what you're proposing to your customer. One of the things that we know is people don't make a decision because they don't have enough information or they're confused. One of the things that we've done a great job in the past of is showing you everything Zultys does, but it's overwhelming. I don't need all that. Well, you're not getting it, but I don't need it. And so they don't make a decision. So we wanted to make sure it's only what they propose. We put their solution price in the beginning, their total investment cost, and then you can do a line item proposal. You can do a summary proposal. I always prefer a summary so I don't have to get nitpicky. Our users are less, but somebody's DIDs are more. I need that to happen. And so for us, you have the ability to choose how you want to do it. You also have the ability as a partner to add 500 of your own line items to it. You can add your own material to it, so your proposal can become an actual professional proposal with all the solutions that you're going to add into it, and we can bill for you on that MRC, NRC. Again, part numbers can be added, easy to do. All right. We're almost done here. So we have a great SPITH program this year. We're all about earning more with Zultys in 24. We have up to a 10 times SPIF. We give a kicker for our contact center of a 2x SPIF. So it starts at a 2, goes up to a 10 times SPIF on the Zultys solution. We're really aggressive and wanting to win deals with our partners. I always like to talk about this because I really want to win these. Unfortunately, I am not eligible, I found out. So if you pick up Zultys, you have a hosted solution between now and June 30th, 2024. Every $1,000 new MRR, you get entered into raffle to win a pair of Apple Vision Pros, which are absolutely the coolest toy I've ever played with that my wife won't let me purchase, but they are so awesome. The ability to just have that really cool experience inside of these. Just for $1,000, you can win that $4,000 item. We have a great partner channel. Again, we have 11 regional sales managers. You can see, again, we're really focused on shrinking the territories, growing our sales team. We want to spend more time with you guys as partners to be able to help you grow your organization. And my team is experienced in helping you improve your business and spending time with you. Every one of the people here has some real tenure in this world, and they have the ability to consult with you on your business, help you sell. We're big on co-selling with you. I don't want to just ask you to go out and sell it. My team will come out, work with you, create programs, do lunch and learns. We really want to help grow your business. So with that said, I'm going to end the presentation. I think I went over by a couple minutes. I see a couple questions in Q&A, but I want to say thank you to everybody that's joined today. Really appreciate you guys. But any questions, I'll go through and answer right now. And if you want to throw any questions, I will answer them. Thank you very, very much.
All right, that was a great presentation, Justin. Did you want to give people your contact information if they want to reach out to you?
Yes.
Not to put you on the spot.
No. Everybody can call me. Yeah. Not a problem. Let's see. I can't do it through chat. I can't send it through Q&A. I don't have it on the screen. So here, I'll just give you my email address. It's really easy. My email address is justin.bush, B-U-S-H, just like the tree, I used to say president, but I don't know if that's acceptable. Justin.bush@zultys.com, Zultys.com. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and trust that everybody's not going to put me on a spam thing. My cell phone number that you guys can all call me directly on is 773-383-0763. And that is my direct cell phone, 773-383-0763.
And again, Justin, that was a great presentation. The fishing metaphor, that had me hooked right there.
Yeah, there you go. Hooked. I like it. I like it.
So we have quite a few interactions here. This one person wants to know, the Zultys system, does that replace pretty much every function on a conventional PBX?
Yes.
Okay, nice and easy. How is the Zultys service hosted?
How much is it?
How is it hosted? Is it a hosted service?
We can be a hosted. We can also be a premise-based solution. We can also be a virtualized. Really, we focus a lot. The majority of our marketplace today is in the hosted space. That is the majority of our sales.
Okay. This person, I think, maybe is taking a little dig at you here. Can you set up a secure connection on a hotel Wi-Fi using Zultys tools?
That's a great question. I could VPN to my corporate office and access it that way. But today I just use their open access.
Perfect. Let's see here. What's your sweet spot for business size? Like, what sort of industries does Zultys really support?
Great. Well, I go back to that slide. So I'd say 20 to 1,500 is a really good sweet spot for Zultys today. You know, we go up to the 40,000 users. I kind of went through that. The medical is our number one vertical market, but we really do service everybody. So when I look at an organization, you know, one of the things that I always talk about is it's somebody that's into technology. If somebody just wants to be able to have dial tone, pick up a phone, answer a phone, hang up a phone, can we do that? Absolutely. Are they typically price shopping? Absolutely. So what I look at is, how do I really look at this technology and make sure it improves their business? But, you know, industries for us, I'd say medical's our number one vertical market. We do really well in financial institutions. The SLED marketplace is real hot right now just because it's school RFP season. And we do a lot in service industries today. And then service industries are real big for us. Attorneys are real big. You know, we really work in all sorts of industries. You know, the largest client we have is, most people haven't heard of them. It's a small company in Austin called Samsung. And that's the one that for us is going to continue to grow really, really large. So, you know, we also do industrial organizations as well. So we're really all over the board on where we sell. Our minimum and our MRR, by the way, we do have a minimum. It is $100 minimum and 5 users.
Okay, very cool. Does Zultys, does it support WebRTC?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So today I showed the client. We also have the ability to deploy as a browser-based software, and it is WebRTC. So we have the ability to deploy flexibly either as a client or WebRTC. And again, we're really working on and I didn't even say this, we're working on developing it to make sure that our client and our browser-based software are developed in the same software, same pace. Today they're developed separately, but for us it's still at the same pace. So yeah, we have the ability to do WebRTC or Zultys with the client.
All right, fantastic. A couple more just kind of partner related questions came in. What makes for, in your opinion, what makes for a really great kind of partner culture? You mentioned partner culture earlier.
Yeah, so what makes a great partner culture? So one of the things that we like to really focus on, I like my team to come spend time with you as a partnership. We want to win deals together. So I want my team to help co-sell with you. So I want them to be an extension of your organization to help you any way that they can. If you want to do lunch and learns, I want to financially assist you guys on it. But I want somebody to come out there and help speak with you. When we look at that partner relationship, it's talking through the sales process that you have. Can I help improve that? Can my team help with that? Can we help get to somewhere we need to be to win, right? How do I discount it to win with you? How do I help you with tools that you need? This marketing portal came about a lot because the partners were asking us how to do more email campaigns. Well, I know a way to do it. Let's create a portal that can do it for the partners. So we really do listen to what they need, and everybody's different, Brady. I think that's the important part. Every partnership is going to need something different. I look at it like my kids. I love them both. I love them both differently because they need different love and they need different support. And so every partner is going to be different. And we look at it not like they're kids, but they're a part of our family. And everybody needs something a little bit different. And so our RSMs and myself, we all sit and listen to our partners and how do we help them get to where they want to be. So that's one of the things when we say a partnership, we really do mean, let's sit down. What are your goals for this year? What is something I can help you with outside of Zultys, and the team's going to do it. It's not necessarily all about selling our product, but helping everybody's business improve for us.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about Zultys's support model. Could you talk about that specifically for the partner and for the customer?
Yeah, for the support model, it's a great question. So our support, our day two support, is something I talked a little bit about, but it is something that is absolutely the best in the industry as far as I'm concerned and everything that I hear. That the ability to enable anybody to call into my support. We've got a support team that will take phone calls. The average hold time last year again was 16 seconds. They're all US based support team. These are tier 2, tier 3 technicians that can support anything. And it's really important for me to enable every customer to call in. You shouldn't get a phone call on how to do a conference call on Zultys. They should be able to call Zultys. Now we can create different rules. And I had this yesterday where somebody was like, hey, I want to enable everybody to call support for a question, but I don't want them to be able to make changes into the routing because, well, they're a contact center and they're afraid that their contact center agents are going to call in and say, hey, I absolutely want to change it so I don't take phone calls in this group. So we had to go in and say, okay, we're going to make a note in your account. Only these people can make changes into the routing, but anybody else can call in for support. So we're really flexible again in how we do it. This partner also wanted to get a copy of every ticket their customer called in on. You could either get those or not get them. It's entirely up to you. But the support at Zultys is top notch, and we make sure those customers are taken care of. I really like to focus on that. We almost take that guilty until proven innocent approach.
Cool. Is it safe to say, Zultys, is it more favorable maybe for a customer that's migrating from on-premise to the cloud, I'm guessing?
I'd say it's a really easy transition. It's probably easier than most people in the industry, but we take a lot of people from other providers today. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily, oh my gosh, we have to look at that. But I would tell you, Brady, the big advantage for Zultys is I have all that legacy functionality in the cloud, and not everybody has that in the cloud because we were born in the cloud and we've stayed in the cloud, right? We were born on premise, moved to virtual, and now cloud. Continue developing all of it because it's the same piece of software. So it does make it easier for us when somebody's migrating from premise to cloud because I give them the functionality they have.
Okay, great. How does Zultys invest in partners?
How do we invest in our partners? It's a great question. So for us, one of the things that we want to do, we will work with them on a base upgrade where we give really aggressive base upgrade programs. I talked a little bit about Ronell Richards and educating our partner base. We really want to make sure that we help them become better at everything that they do. Ronell's a really great example and things that we continue to do. And we do all sorts of other webinars, but Ronell's on my mind because he's awesome and he's done a lot for our partner group because social media is something that social marketing is something that not everybody's great at, and he's an expert at it. And so we've invested in having him do webinar series for our partners to be able to learn how to do it. And it has nothing to do with Zultys. He doesn't sell our product. It's not about getting more Zultys. It's about how do we help you guys improve your organization. So we invest in educating you guys. We invest in the portal to make it easier for you guys to do stuff as a partner organization. We invested in a marketing tool so you got the partners would be able to send out email campaigns that look like it comes from them, but it's a marketing tool that I don't get access to their customer list, but we get access to the usage of the material to make sure it's correct. We invest in our partners by helping them do lunch and learns, which, it's a huge focus for us right now. I've been doing this for more years than I care to tell everybody, but I've been doing it quite a while, and I've always found great success at bringing a group of 10 or 15 people together with our partners and telling them about everything the partner provides. Really, we look at it as a third-party testimonial, because I don't want it to always be all about Zultys. It needs to be about the partner. It should be about all the technology they sell. And so when we come in, we give that third-party testimonial of, how great it is to work with Todd or Brady, and we talk about why we're partnering. And for me to tell their customers why, it becomes a lot stronger, because they're hearing it not just from the partner, but from a provider saying, man, you're so lucky to find Brady. I can't believe you found a partner that's going to be so good for your organization.
Oh, thank you for that. Two more quick questions. I know we're running short on time here, but you kind of touched on it, Justin. How do you go? What's the first steps for becoming a Zultys partner?
Yeah, so the first step is to contact your regional sales manager in your territory, and I'll leave this slide up right now. So if you contact your regional sales manager, you can also contact me, and I'll put you in contact with the regional sales manager. We want to go through the process of seeing how we're going to fit together. So the first step is we schedule some time to get on a call, talk about your business, how we can help you, how you can help us, how do we partner together, what you're looking for. And so that's really the first step, is to get on a phone. And if you want to see the product, I'm going to have my team show you the product, and they'll go as in depth as you want on the product and spend as much time as you want.
All right, great. One last question here. Can you tell us a little bit about the pre-sales support team that a Zultys partner would have access to?
Yeah, so my pre-sales support team's absolutely fantastic. We call them channel support. And they are, it's Jack, Bill, and Kevin are the ones, and Tim is their vice president for channel support. Channel support's awesome. They're available for them to be able to help with RFP processes, to be able to help do demos. Your regional sales manager can also help. Your inside salesperson for your territory can also help. But they're really technical, so they have the ability to talk, at the network level, the packet level for people, however in depth that partner wants to take it or the customer wants to take it. But they're there to help us and assist us doing demos, looking at RFPs, talking about configurations ahead of time, looking over a configuration if our partner does it. So they're really there to be that angel on the shoulder to help them through the sales process.
All right. That is going to do it for the webinar portion. Justin Bush, the Zultys Vice President of Sales, thank you so much for the time and all the information.
Thanks, Brady, and everybody that attended. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you.
Fantastic. I also want to remind you all that if you missed any of this webinar, you can find it as well as past Channel Vision presentations on demand by visiting our website, channelvisionmag.com. Also, a reminder that CVX Expo 24 returns November 12th through 14th for the third year running at the Talking Stick Resort, Scottsdale, Arizona. Attendees and exhibitors include TSDs, MSPs and resellers, trusted advisors and consultants, wholesale communications, cloud solution, business IT and security providers, and all-inclusive ticket grants channel partners access to everything the event has to offer. And for more information, visit cvxexpo.com. And like I said, that is going to do it. From all of us at Channel Vision Magazine, for our good friends with Zultys, take care, everybody. Be good to one another. Bye-bye.
Thank you.